The reason why we built FOPSCO is to unite the Filipino online professionals industry, to also promote collaboration with each other, and of course, we wanted to help produce skilled online professionals, specialists, and of course, leaders.
We've created POPSCO with a vision to become an organization that supports all Filipino online professionals to be successful in their online careers and businesses, regardless of their affiliations.
I joined FOPSTalk because as an online professional who's working at the comfort of my home, I needed other individual can share with me on this freelancing journey.
The reason why we have built the Filipino Online Professional Service Cooperative is to help DICT graduates, aspirant freelancers, and this is also to help them develop, explore, and acquire new skills when it comes to online professional industry.
Ang paglambo o kalampusan sa usa ka organisasyon nagadepende sa kalidad sa mga miyembro o mga lideres niini. Ang FOPSCO dili lang adunay maanindot kayo nga advokasya o misyon na matabangan kitang tanang mga online professionals na magkahiusa, mulambo o mutubo kita sa atong pagpanarbaho o pagnegosyo online.
FOPSCO for me is a digital opportunity for me to develop and share my skills.
I joined FOPSCO as one of the founding members because I knew FOPSCO is going to be backed by other veteran online professionals and freelancers, thereby having an experienced, solid, and passionate founding members that we have today.
I joined FOPSTalk because the vision of the co-op aligns with my personal vision to provide much needed support to online professionals nationwide.
I joined FOPSCO because the people that I've met have the same values, mission, and vision as mine, and that is free training and coaching to those who wants to jumpstart their career as a freelancer.
I joined the FOPSTalk community because it promotes collaboration instead of competition.
I joined FOPSCO because this is a group with a helping hand.
I wanted to be part of an organization that would be a pioneer group of individuals who will be working to promote online freelance.
Good evening, friends and online professionals. Welcome to another live episode of FOPSTalk. And right now, I have I don't have the okay. So this is the first live episode of FOPSTalk for this year. I think second live episode is my first back this year. But welcome everybody, and thank you so much first of all to our FOPSCO media team for always being there to support us, and also the FOPSCO social media team and our FOPSCO members. Welcome. We have another special guest tonight. But before I introduce the guest, kamustahin muna natin ang ating mga co-host, Bern and Rosh. How are you doing today?
Hi, we're actually in an event with HKTDC tonight. I'm with Charlene and the rest of the gang. Of course, Jane, Dennis, Mas, and some friends, of course, from FOPSCO. But I had to sneak out for, of course, FOPSTalk.
Yay. Thank you, Rosh, for being here. And Bern, how are you? It's been like almost a year, no joke. It's been a few months since we last talked. How are you doing?
Yes, good evening everyone, and greetings from General Santos City, and it's nice to be back here live with you guys, seeing you all, and getting myself healthier every single day. Thank you.
Getting healthier, that should be our goal for the whole year. It has been my goal for so many years. Okay, well, yes, all right. So let me just go ahead and introduce our guest for tonight. Devin.
Hello.
Devin
I'm
is a
here.
Yes, hi Devin. So let me just give them a brief background about you. So she is a dedicated and skilled professional with a flair for interdisciplinary collaboration. I met her in WordCamp Manila 2023, and I was really just amazed by all her energy, her commitment towards increasing or really making the WordPress community better. So let's hear more about her story tonight. Hi Devin, good evening to you.
Hi, Jehan. Everybody, good evening.
How are you? Yeah, so let's go on. So you're a WordPress community manager, right? So tell
Yes.
us a little bit about what you do and how you started with WordPress, just a little bit about your job.
Okay, so just a little bit of introduction. So I may look like the folks here. I look like somebody coming from the Philippines, but when Jehan started talking, I would say I assume it's Tagalog. I'm like, I have no idea what Jehan is talking about because I'm actually based in Indonesia. I'm based in Jakarta. I'm Indonesian, and I also had a great time meeting Jehan in Manila at WordCamp Manila. So it was a pleasure to receive an invitation to share my journey, my story with you all, and to see Jehan again, although it's only online. Yeah, so it's really nice. So yeah, I'm currently what we typically call sponsored contributor. And I'm particularly a full-time one, which means that I'm fully sponsored by a company who invests in the WordPress. So my company is automatic, but on daily basis, I'm working with community contributors, WordPress contributors globally. I also have, of course, the Indonesian community dear to my heart, and especially also the Asian community. Hence, I was in Manila supporting the WordPress community in Manila, and I was really like, come on, let's start new meetups in Zamboanga, I can't remember where else, but I think there were 5 new cities in the Philippines that we pushed to start 2023. So that's really exciting. So yeah, and what I do is basically I provide support, I provide advice, I mentor local organizers, and I work on new ideas, exploring new ideas, how we can make our WordPress community bigger, healthier, stronger, because WordPress is an open source and we rely on the contribution of all WordPress users, and us users as well, contributors, have a significant role in ensuring WordPress is stronger, bigger, like the community. So yeah, and to just touch on the background where I got into this whole WordPress world. I don't have actually an IT background. I don't program. I don't code. But I have extensive experience working with projects, community-based, or NGOs, if you like to call it. And I work with government policies and so on and so forth. So my passion in supporting people, creating enabling environment for people to succeed and to allow ideas to flourish. So that's I think my passion and my skills. And so when my boyfriend back then, husband now, introduced me to the WordPress community in Indonesia, it was back in 2016. I attended WordCamp Denpasar in Bali. And I was asked on the spot, impromptu, to help as a volunteer. And what I did was just doing registration and then handing out T-shirt. Only by that, I could meet a lot of passionate people, inspiring people, and it really helped me see, oh, there are opportunities where I can actually contribute. I don't code, I don't program, but I speak English a little bit. And I see that a lot of informations are in English, written in English. There's a lot of like guidance coming from global. It's in English, and it looks like the Indonesian community. And this is something what Jehan mentioned. We don't speak probably English as fluent as folks in the Philippines. So there's always language barrier. On top of it, there's some people are just feeling a little bit imposter syndrome when it comes to not able to communicate, whether or not I am equally talented than other people. So, I mean, these are human. And so that's what I see, like, I think I can do something. And so, yeah, so I was still working full time at the NGO, but slowly contributing through translating WordPress and then organizing WordPress meetups. So it's easy for me, translating and organizing events. And then I quit my job. And one day the opportunity for me to apply as a full-time contributor to Automatic just came. And yeah, here I am now. And this has been a really, really exciting journey. I mean, I get to see people like Jehan and introduce me to folks like you all. So how not that can be exciting. But yeah, here I am.
I love the idea that, from passion, you were able to find a work opportunity and you're still doing, of course, what you love, which is to help people and in the environment that you love, which is WordPress. Right now, where are you seeing yourself 5-10 years from now in the WordPress industry? Will you still be doing the same, volunteer job, or you're looking into doing maybe upgrade or upskill or doing something else?
It's an interesting question, because I see with WordPress, sky is the limit. You see people as young as like probably 9 years old already contributing, being present in the WordPress global community, and then you see folks who are mature, who are veterans, and they are still there, sitting side by side, working side by side. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is probably doesn't apply with some people, but what I see, there's no hierarchy in WordPress. There's only people with shared excitement, shared hopes and dreams. And so I don't see myself as like, oh, I'll be moving up the ladders or anything. But I want to see myself having a bigger role, a more impactful roles. I want to see myself being able to help more people, or even help people quicker than I can do now, so that people feel like empowered. And I want to see people more successful with WordPress, more confident with WordPress. So yeah, that's how I see it. Like building trust, building engagement, building connection, especially with folks in Asia. That's my goal. And yeah, especially Indonesia and Asia. I guess that's where I'm based. Although not to mention, the more people you meet in WordPress, the more you get like inspired. And yeah, as I mentioned, the sky is the limit. You can't tell the kind of people you meet at WordPress event. You'll be like, whoa, today I learned. There's always today I learned with WordPress. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know whether that answered your question. Sorry.
Yes, of course it did. Thank you so much. Because Jehan and I, we're doing WordPress. Jehan, I think she has become more technical over the years. But I am maybe perhaps just like you before. I don't code. I just do, the templates. And then, but
Mhm.
I do give consults to clients as well on how and where they can use WordPress. But
Yeah.
having that goal to do a bigger role to be able to help community, that's something that we can all do regardless of whatever skills that we have, as long as we want to
Yes.
help.
Yes,
That's
I
it.
agree. Yes, I
Okay.
agree. And I really admire folks like Jehan who transition and kind of what's the English word for that? Transform
Upskilled.
from non-coding,
Yes.
non-coder into a coder. That shows how much passion you have. I mean, in my case, I just don't have that interest to learn. I do have to admit, end of last year, I wanted to learn HTML and CSS. Some things I haven't actually started, but I would say don't go too far with like programming language. Just learn the basic HTML and CSS. Probably that helps me understand better when I meet with programmer, coder in the community. So kudos to you, Jehan, if you've already
Okay, let me
making that progress.
let me correct that. I'm not a programmer yet. I'm still trying to study the programming languages, but yeah, HTML and CSS is something I can somehow do, but yeah, not a programmer here. No, no, no. I still rely a lot on Google for those codes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
I love the passion. I love how your passion for the advocacy in doing WordPress community work is really there. I can really see it. So personally, what rewards have you seen? I mean, what personal rewards have you really felt from all the, because the work that you do for the community is really mostly volunteer work, right?
Yeah.
Yes. What are the personal rewards? Because financially we can really say there's a lot of financial rewards to it. But personally, like why do you keep doing what you do?
You know, I see something. It really gives me that energy when I see people happy and smiling, and when people that you can see changes in people to the better state of, you know, for example, they don't know something, they didn't know anything, and then now they know something, and that change, that process, um, that journey. It really gives me sort of like affirmation that I'm here for a reason, that what I do are valuable and helpful. So I guess that's even a small, even when people don't say thank you, but they see, hey, I met these people and now we got a project, or simple as, hey, I met this person that you recommended, and then we agreed to meet next week to see whether there's any possibilities of, I don't know, business opportunities, learning opportunities, or even that. It already gives me this sort of like energy. So it fuels me to like, all right, what can I do again to match people, to allow people to meet? Like, I don't want to know what you're talking about, kind of thing, or like, I don't want to tell you how you should meet and how you should find a way to collaborate, but I know that you have something to offer to this person, and this person has something also to offer to you. So um a long time ago, somebody told me that I have that sort of like energy, or like people gravitates towards me. That's what I was told. And so I'm like, okay, what can I do with that? What I know is I can see sometimes what people want and what people have, and that is not even obvious to the person. And that I see opportunity in one person, and I see also another opportunity in another person. And I like to kind of like matchmaking them, to match make them, and then to allow them to kind of like come together and agree on something, and see what fruits that they actually going to come up with. And that is something that I feel like, yeah, that's what I'm here for. So of course, I would be thrilled when people say, "Hey, Devin, thank you so much. Because of you, I could do this, I could do that." Like obvious sort of thank thank you message, or people tell probably my boss or my colleagues, "Hey, I really love working with Devin." Of course, those kind of things I really love to hear. But you can't really ask people to say so, right? So just by seeing the unobvious, hearing the unobvious, seeing that goodness in the meetings, it's already a blessing, and it motivates me, gives me that energy to keep going.
Of course, and of course, the growth of the community too, right?
Yeah, obviously, yes. Obviously, yes, yes. That I was probably mainly talking about my personal reward, but looking at more meetups happening in the Philippines, in Indonesia, looking at more WordCamps happening in the Philippines, or in fact, if in the future the Philippines would be the host city for WordCamp Asia, one of the flagship event for what in the WordPress community, that would be also something very, very rewarding, I would say.
I'm not sure because here in the Philippines, what we did, not WordPress community in particular, but the online professionals community. So we built this cooperative wherein we are sharing opportunities and networks and learnings, trainings per se to the members of the community. Maybe that is something that you are born for, because I can see the passion in you, whenever you're talking about what you do and how you're helping people. And maybe one day, if you're able to build that certain community in Indonesia, and we have the same or counterpart community here in the Philippines, we can meet up. Because when you mentioned earlier that most common problem is the language barrier. Most people in Indonesia doesn't speak English, that well. That's also the problem with Filipinos. Although Filipinos speak English, they are not that confident, especially English is not our first language. So since we have a common problem, maybe there's something that we can, help with in terms of, let's say, teaching Indonesians how to speak English as a second language. If there are people who need English tutors or help with English lessons, then our community FOPSCO can help provide that, and maybe we can solve a certain problem and maybe grow in the same industry altogether.
That would be fantastic. I mean, now while you're talking, I'm thinking, what can we do with the programmers, the designers, the marketers, the SEO practitioners, people who really want to learn, but because most of the resources are written in English or available in English, so that prevents them to actually learn more than what available in their own native language. So probably some sort of like a call between, I don't know, programmers in the Philippines and Indonesia, designers in the Philippines and Indonesia, and the sharing of knowledge, the transfer of resources. Because what I understand is sometimes, despite the Indonesian folks are not comfortable in English probably, or conversing in English, or always kind of feel like reluctant to go through resources if they have to do the extra mile to translate than using Google Translate. It might be easier to have that connection, right? The verbal conversation. But what I also feel like, they actually have ideas, good ideas, great ideas, in fact. It's just the inability to express that properly in English prevents them to actually move a little bit faster. I'm not saying that really hinders or block them to be successful, but it takes them longer, to get what they want, or to reach at somewhere that they wanna reach. Yeah.
And sometimes they have the ideas, know what to say, and they can say it. It's just that they're not that confident to say it because they're just scared to to say it, because they're not thinking that, they're not confident. They don't know if what they're gonna say is correct or what,
Yeah.
or maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe just a really lack of confidence. Maybe 30
Yeah.
minutes, an hour of talking to somebody who's really English speaking, who's already speaking in English very well.
Yeah.
That may
Yeah.
build their confidence and be
Yeah.
able to at least polish their English speaking skills. That's
Yeah.
something that Filipino and Indonesian WordPress community or online professionals community can do. Maybe, I don't know, just throwing
Yeah.
ideas here.
That's actually a good idea, because another thing is, in that sort of situation, what you can explore is, for example, if you programmer, sometimes even though you can't speak in English, you can speak in that language, right? The programming language,
Yes,
the coding. So you probably talk in very broken English, but because you both are thinking using the programmer brain,
any language, yeah.
the logic of a programmer, it just connects, and it gives that comfort, to exchange ideas, to even pursue a deeper conversation despite the broken English. But because you are comfortable, you feel like no matter how poor my English, my partners would understand me, because we're talking about the same thing. Like,
Yes.
whether that's either tackling issues around codes and stuff like that. So that's how I believe this. And one thing is, it also requires that willingness, and that's something that probably not many people has, the intention, and then the willingness to try. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you just have to do it and take that step, the first step. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
very,
would be
very
great. Yeah.
we can create perhaps a certain event, like a small group of Zoom, a Zoom call, invite a few friends, and then we can do a free, let's say, 30 minutes or so of English lessons, or perhaps just ask them what are your problems, so that we can create lessons to help them grow their confidence in English speaking. We're meeting here, Jehan.
We're planning. We're planning already here.
So is this like a brainstorming session already? I love how passionate everyone is.
Burns might want to ask a few questions.
Please.
Actually, I feel loaded with the visions, and it's really good to collaborate with another country, and we have the same challenges and opportunities that we have. And I really appreciate and admire your thinking about emphasizing about the beliefs. And I would like really to know, we're speaking of bridging the gap of communication. How do you maintain good communication in the WordPress community? Do you use techniques, or do you have any principles that you communicate with them, that you're really emphasizing with them? We would like to learn more about that. More on
Thank
the
you.
community side.
That is a great question, because I don't know whether you've heard that we have what we call code of conduct within the WordPress community, and I believe many other communities also have some sort of like a rule of thumb, so like code of conduct. We also learn a lot from the Linux community, and this code of conduct applies to all our programs, online and offline. And we have 22 projects within the WordPress.org projects. One of them is the community, the team that oversees all WordPress events. So we refer our conversation, written and in verbal, when we have an event online, or such as WordCamp and meetups. We ask the community organizers to refer to that. But in general, on top of it, we also have what we call the WordPress diversity kind of project. That's also within the WordPress community. But in general, the way we communicate, the way we interact, the way we collaborate, we embrace the inclusivity, the openness, the fairness, the freedom to express, because we also have the 4 freedoms. But because we know that we are coming from different backgrounds, we'd also probably a different expectation. That's why we have this code of conduct to ensure that we respect each other, and we believe in each other. So it's always in like this community growth, community help, in that we always have this in mind. How can we ensure that folks want to stay, that folks are heard, and folks are appreciated, folks feel empowered? So it's not that, this is right or wrong. It's more about, we can do something better. This has rooms for improvements. What do you think? And we know that we can't do everything together, and it's only get stronger if we do things together. And so that's why you always want to create rooms for people to come in together for the sake of transparency as well. And the diversity, the more people, it's not always easy, I understand, working with volunteers, right? And the more people, the more IDs coming in. It might not be easy to wrangle, to manage, but it's for the best. And it's usually the approach that can ensure you have a sustained program, because of the many people involved. And you have a kind of like, I would say, a more polished sort of project when you have more eyes on the project. So yeah, I don't know whether that answers your question, but in general, we embrace diversity, we embrace this openness and transparency. We value the open source, so we uphold the open source values, and that's something that we translate, we kind of use in many ways, communication, written, verbally, the way we plan our projects and stuff like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate what you're sharing. I guess that would really, I see a really organized kind of system regards with bridging the gap, uniting of diversified community. We have also we are also a diverse community here in the Philippines, and that would really code of conduct would really help. Do you have any unforgettable experience in your journey in your community as managing community that you would like to share or inspire, or a lesson learned, that experience?
I don't have anything particular on top of my head, because everything is just really special. I mean, I'm always looking forward to meet with people, new people, old people, just and this is what I've been telling the community organizers. WordPress is a software. We usually work online, and that's why we need that meetups, WordCamps, events where we can meet in person to strengthen, to because we are human beings, we are social people, so we need that connection. We need to be able to see how the person sound. It might be different when you meet the person, on how they gesture, how they respond to something funny, and how they express when they hear something that probably they're not interested in. And if you are working in a team, and if you want to build a project together, meeting in person, I think, is essential. So in my company, we don't have an office, so 2,000 something people, we work all remotely, but we ensure ourselves to meet at least once a year, because we need that moment to be together in person, to strengthen our bond and our trust, the connection. So I think that's why I'm always excited. So if you ask me one thing, everything is special, everything is extraordinary for me. Yeah. And one thing that I wanted to add related to your previous questions, and this is something that I always embrace and I always love with WordPress, is the way I see WordPress has no hierarchy, that everyone is kind of like equal in a way. People have different roles, of course. This allows people to, folks to really come together, because otherwise you will have, you know, this hierarchy where one person kind of gatekeeping everything, and that's not what we want. Because the more people coming in, the stronger, the more you can ensure the sustainability of your events. That's how I believe as well, and that's how I see things happening. The good practice in many community globally, they apply this. Like, everyone's a welcome, everyone is welcome, everyone has the space to actually learn, to help, to be part of something, to have a role. So yeah.
Do you attend an international word camps in other cities? So where's the like, what's the most unlikely place that you've been to where you attended a word camp, and what's the most interesting thing you did in those places?
Okay. Because I'm also supported by my company. We have a rule that if I'm based in Asia, so I'm more likely to go to events in Asia. It's also good for my for the work that I do, meeting more and more people in Asia, because Asia is so big. But I can't also go to every single WordCamp in Asia. So at least I can go to one WordCamp per quarter. So for example, I'm looking forward to go to WordCamp Pune in February. And I just finished an event in Jakarta myself. And there would be flagship event, WordCamp Asia in Taiwan, in Taipei. So that's something also that I'm looking forward to. So that's only for the first quarter of this year. So I'm excited. But I had experience going to WordCamp Europe before I joined as a full-time contributor. I went there with my husband, and I was asked if I want to volunteer as an MC. And WordCamp Europe is one of like the biggest flagship event. So it's really hard to get into as a speaker or volunteers or organizers. And they always embrace folks from all over the world. So I was so thrilled when I was asked whether I want to volunteer as an MC. And so it was like a global stage. And that was my first time, my first flagship event in Europe. And I was an MC. It was not at the biggest session, but still, you know. And I met with a lot of people whom I met again later in different occasions. In fact, once I joined the as a full-time contributor, I had the opportunity again to go to WordCamp Europe in Porto. So the first one was in Berlin, second one was in Porto. And I met the person who spoke at my session, whom I introduced, but that person was already also hired by my company. So we both meeting again the second time, and we both work for the same company. So that was kind of funny. I found like, oh my God, we were on the same stage. You were the speaker and I was the MC, and now here we are again. We didn't know. He didn't know that I got employed by the company, and then I also didn't know that he's employed. And I was like, what a coincidence. So that kind of thing, that really nice. And anything can happen with the WordPress, within the WordPress community. So I would say if you threw to yourself, yeah, and what it's meant to be yours, it's going to be yours. So that's what I really like. I haven't been to WordCamp US. That's one of my probably dreams. My goals. I really wish I could go to WordCamp US at someday in the future, so that I can also experience the community in Northern America. I think most of the other local WordCamps, international WordCamp, they're in Asia. So Kathmandu, Malaysia, Bengaluru, Manila, and I'm going to Pune. So let's see. I almost went to Dhaka last year, so I'm looking forward to probably going to one WordCamp in every country so that I get to see and meet the local community. Yeah.
You're living my dream. I love traveling. And you've been all over the place.
Well, I mean, at my age now, it's actually quite tiring, but because of that passion, the energy that you get coming back from those events, that really something that keeps me going. Yeah.
I am actually thinking because my husband is a programmer. Maybe that's the reason
Mhm.
why I didn't get to learn programming because whenever I don't know anything, I just ask him.
Yes, that's what I did. I'm like, can you help me with something? And then he's always teaching me something, but like, yeah, but I just don't quite get it when it comes to coding and the logics and everything. Yeah, it's just, and also the how do you call that? Like just to see all these like codes, I don't think I get it. I'm like, my brain just doesn't follow this. Well, I guess I have strength somewhere else, but just not the codes.
Yes, yes, I would agree. I would agree. When you said earlier that you just know you felt at that time that you just know how to speak English, that's also what I was thinking when I started in the online industry. I felt that speaking in English is just my only advantage to any other, freelancers out there. But it turns out that I can learn other skills, but not programming.
I hear you. I totally hear you. And oh, it may be the only, but with that, there's so many things you can do, right? And that's
Yeah.
what and knowing that you can do something with this only skill or only ability, how you can make it happen, how you can actually use it um, um, at your best to really help people, to allow you to achieve your dream. That is something that I don't think many people have. I mean, many people speak English, but whether or not they want to use it to help people, to do something, to create something, that's a different scenario, I would
Yes, yes.
say.
Definitely, we will be doing another meeting. Maybe just not
Mhm.
here. We're going to
Yeah,
continue with what we started earlier.
sure.
Because helping Filipino people has always been our advocacy as a cooperative.
Mhm, mhm,
However, I didn't realize that we can also help other countries, to help them succeed in their own endeavors. For example, those WordPress community that you were mentioning about, I don't know how many
mhm,
WordPress community you have, but if
mhm,
we can, help them at least increase their confidence in speaking in English and
mhm,
maybe find, more clients and maybe be able to
mhm.
express themselves more when they're doing presentations, it would be a great honor for us to be a part of their growth as well.
My honor as well. I just something that I realized as well when you asked me about what really what something I get it's more like when you help people sometimes you don't realize that you're also being helped
Yeah,
by whatever, I don't know,
in
that
whatever
that
way.
that
Yeah.
other power, you know, the ability to help people feels like, oh, you get something, you're the one who get help
Yes, yes. No
by
one know that.
giving you, yeah, by giving you actually getting, but you just don't know what you're getting, and then you can't see it, but you are getting something, and that's
Yes,
something that is, yeah, it's not obvious, and you're the only one who can feel it in your heart, I think.
yes.
I love
That's
that. Yeah, it's like sometimes the teacher becomes the student.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I love the passion. Yeah,
yeah.
but what's the youngest that you've what age have you met any really young WordPress specialist throughout your community work? What's the youngest you've met so far?
If I'm not mistaken, when I did WordCamp Jakarta, so when I did WordCamp Ubud, I met a protege. So the mom was part of the kind of online digital marketing. And so the son was, so she was supporting the son to learn. And she was, look, she understand that there's the passion within the son. And she introduced the son to many like senior developers. And Ubud, WordCamp Ubud, they kind of like set a goal that there's going to be WordCamp Jakarta. So I think WordCamp Ubud was in October and WordCamp Jakarta is in February. So say 4 or 5 months, within 4 or 5 months, he was preparing himself to be one of the youngest speaker in February, and he did. So he learned, he practiced, and I think he was only 9 years old back then, if I'm not mistaken, either 9 or 11. It was odd number, but either 9 or 11. But he was like, "Mom, I want to apply as a speaker." And then the mom was helping and everything, and so the preparation was only 4 or 5 months because he pledged in October, WordCamp Ubud, and then WordCamp Jakarta was in February the next year. Because I was part of the 2 WordCamps, and I know the mom and I know the son. So there. And then we do have what we call actually kids camp. So it's WordCamp for kids, for students. Usually it's attached to the bigger WordCamp. But since end of last year, there's many more WordCamps actually doing this. So they have a side event, or they have like a little workshop for students. So it's not really kids camp, but they call it WordPress for schools, or WordPress for kids, or WordPress for students. And so we're looking at this as a very promising and potential format or focus. So if you're looking at this as something really interesting and doable in your community in Zamboanga, by all means, that could be something that you can do as well. Focusing on students, on kids, working with schools around WordPress.
9 years old. 9 or 11, something. My kid is 13, so there's hope for her.
Of course, Jay. Evan, aside from English speaking, what are the other problems or challenges of Indonesian community, WordPress community?
So the language barrier is one thing, and I mentioned earlier about imposter syndrome, or like kind of feel not confidence, whether they're actually good enough, and so on and so forth. And the last one is the fact that the community is still dominated by male, by male programmers, designers, so technically men. It's not by intention, but it's just the nature. I think everywhere in the world, the tech community usually dominated by men. But it's a challenge because now you feel like you see only men everywhere. I mean, even at the web challenge Jakarta on Saturday, the winners, most of the submission we get, they were by male developers, and then the winners were all men. And I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just like, I wish I could see a woman standing in there. I'm usually the only woman in the picture or somewhere, or talking in the front. So, but yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge to get more women to participate, and just be confident and be there. I mean, I wish I could code and program, so that I can be a bit more like convincing towards the women, the female developers, so that they want to come forward. unfortunately, I can't go.
But no, you can do more because of course we're going to teach them how to speak English, right?
Yes,
So
that's
that's where we
right.
can help.
Yeah, so I actually started my initiative called Perempuan WordPress. So Perempuan means woman. So I did it in 2020 when I was kind of took a like I was unemployed, and I see this challenge. I want to see more diversity. I started Perempuan WordPress, but I haven't had the time to kind of rejuvenate it. So the initiative is still there. We still have the documentation. We have the Telegram group, but it's inactive. I'm working with more women in the polyglots, even WordPress Meetup Jakarta. There's another woman, and then in the organizing team. But I haven't found somebody who wants to really focus on building this or creating this space for the WordPress female developers or designers or wherever. We do have Blogger Perempuan, which is also a community for bloggers. And then we have tech, girls in tech kind of thing. So we try to also work with them for the web challenge. And they agreed to actually participate. So they help sharing our social media posts, but we still don't get that many women participating. At least
How
we
about
try.
how about in terms of clients, Devon? Are your Indonesian entrepreneurs open to creating websites, or it's something that it's new that you need to educate them?
When it comes to creating website, that's actually a good question as well, because we have, I think most people are still comfortable using social media like Instagram or
Yeah.
WhatsApp to sell products, or use marketplace. But more people also realizing that the marketplace take a lot of like percentage out of their profit, right?
Yes.
So the how do you call that, the awareness of like they can better promote their products, their IDs, sell their products using website, probably not that strong in the Indonesian market, I would say.
Same here.
And so the developers still need to educate people, and this is what I think we're lacking of. Like most of the developers, they don't play enough role in educating their clients or educating the mass the power of websites. So they take projects, where they can just use templates. So they really, if this may sound really bad, but they kind of sell themselves cheap. What they can actually get
Yeah.
a bigger client who can invest more only if they can actually sell the IDs and the IDs of using website and their own IDs, or how they can actually use website to sell particular products and brands. Yeah, that's how I see it.
That is also has something to do with them speaking English confidently. Maybe they don't know yet how to do discovery sessions, how to ask clients what they really need, and then customize the solution to what the client really needs so that they can, price it higher.
Yeah, so that's also the reason why we did Web Challenge Jakarta. So that's one of the next gen events. It's not WordCamp, because WordCamp Centra allows us to experiment. The lead organizers, Rio Burhan, was the one who came up with this idea, because he wants people to share how you convince your client, how you pitch, how you do your pitch. So the competition was simply asking people to submit their website, and then we have a designer and a content creator and a developer to screen, and then it came down to 6, and then the 6 people gave presentation during the day, so that people can see what's the background, what's the process of them creating this website. And that allows people to learn from each other. Oh, this is a good website. And a good website doesn't come out like magic. There's a process, right? And the process includes how you convince your client, how you pitch about the website, the IDs that you have. So that's the aim. So that's what we did, why we did web challenge. It's a competition. It's, I guess, the first time in Indonesia. And I heard people saying, well, we learned a lot from the presentation. I thought, to be honest, I thought the presentation would be, because we have many other activities, and I thought only a few people sitting listening to the presentation, but the presentation was always packed. There were like 5 people because one finalist stepped down. But yeah, and everybody said they learned a lot from individual finalists. So I'm like, all right, that's good. And I think Rio Burhan was really proud of his idea as well and making these things happen. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just so thankful that, you are here with us tonight, and that we discovered so many things about, of course, the WordPress community in Indonesia, and how, the two communities can collaborate and help each other. But we will definitely do this again, meet and plan ahead on how we can really, collaborate and help more. So Jehan, I think you may want to ask a few questions before we wrap up, and Burns as well.
No, actually, I'm all good. I just love listening to Devin talk because I can really feel the passion and the commitment towards, building the WordPress site in Indonesia. So yeah, thank you so much, Devin, for saying yes to this invite, and I hope to be seeing more of you soon.
Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for inviting. It's a pleasure to be able to be part of your community as well. For me, I feel thrilled and honored to be invited and share my story, share about my community. And I hope this would be kind of like an opportunity for us to inspire each other. And definitely,
this won't be the last.
Yes, definitely. We talk more. It doesn't have to be live, but meeting online anytime. And good luck with WordPress Meetup Zamboanga, Jehan. I think you haven't started, right?
You haven't.
Just do it. Launch the first event. And it can be just a casual meeting. It doesn't have to have like a certain topic or anything. So just to launch first. I would be excited to hear how it goes later.
Yes, I will. I am planning to set up the first meeting in February, just ironing a few things out. So thank you so much, David.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening.
Yes, you too. Burns?
I'm having trouble with my messenger, so popping up with messages. So I'm so thankful with the time, opportunity, and inspirations. I do have a lot of learnings coming from how doing the community management, inspiration, the WordPress, WordCamp. My husband himself also has, just recently graduated from the WordPress development, and so yeah, thank you so much. And do you have more parting message, Coach? Do I say?
No, that's okay. We already did the parting messages. Whatever.
Okay.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thank you for watching from our FB Live or from our audience. Thank you, Devi, for the time that you have given to us. So thank you so much for watching us, guys, and hope to see you again next Wednesday. Please like our page, facebook.com/.ph, a national-based cooperative for Filipino online professionals. You may also find us in Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you had some takeaway in tonight's show, please share this episode so others can learn from you. And thankful, of course, for FOPSCO Media, our partner in giving you this wonderful show. Join us again next week for another show with another special guest. For our FOPSCO family, let's keep growing together. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Devin. See you.
Thank you, Devin.
See ya. Thank you, Rose.